Are you fond of that? Are you amenable to that? Do you look favorably upon that? Can I inquire if you're keen on that?
The Vikings went to England and Kirk Cousins went native. This is the update to his infamous catchphrase.
You like that?
Cheers. Welcome to Shutout Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. And this week, the Vikings and the Saints go to England. Russell Wilson eats a sandwich. Antonio Brown made the news for the worst game of Marco Polo ever. Plus, the recap, where we make fun of all of last week's games. We're talking about Week 4 of the 2022 NFL season. We'll recap the games in a second, but first, it's barely news. This is the BYU mascot Cosmo Cougar showing serious strength and agility. That's one impressive Cougar. BYU is where Jets quarterback Zach Wilson went to school, and possibly where his love for Cougars began. Russell Wilson is deliciously cringeworthy after a quirky, let's call it, dance video, and a behind-the-scenes look at a promo for the Broncos.
Broncos country, let's ride.
We now have this.
You ever done anything dangerous? Jeez, that is dangerous. I've done something like that too. I won't tell anybody. Listen, one time, never mind, that's too dangerous.
It seemed to be a Subway sandwich commercial. And I use past tense because it has since been deleted by people with judgment.
It's called the Danger Witch, and it's dangerously good.
But it's not just another entry into the growing pantheon of awkward Russell Wilson videos.
It's spicy.
Except it's not. The spiciest things in the sandwich are banana peppers and pepperoni. Also, they haven't made pants big enough for me to have the balls to walk into a Subway sandwich shop and say,
That's dangerous.
this is the worst thing a Subway spokesman has ever done. The New York Post reported on a video of Antonio Brown exposing himself in a hotel pool in Dubai. The video involved a very naked Antonio Brown and a female guest. He reportedly asked the woman, "You want it?" To which I assume she responded, "No thank you, you fucking psycho." Look at the picture, it's daylight. Even vampires wait for the sun to go down. While there's no debating whether it's Brown in the video, he called out the woman's participation and the timing of the video's release. It is suspicious that in a week where the NFL fell under scrutiny for Tua Tagovailoa's injury, a video from May surfaced. Brown has repeatedly exhibited bad behaviors and over the years said some pretty demented stuff, but sometimes he's also been proven right. So the idea that there's some sort of secret NFL vault where they stockpile videos of him for timely distractions isn't impossible. But also, maybe don't provide them with unlimited content of your squirrel shit behavior. Oh. I think I felt that one. And that's barely news. And now it's time to take a look back, all the way back to last week. It's time for the recap. Joe Burrow showed up looking like that couch from my parents' basement. Ah, the memories. I lost my virginity to that couch. I mean, on that couch. It was whiteout night for the Bengals, which means they wore their new white Bengal uniforms. Sure, they looked nice, but good luck trying to keep them clean. Joe Mixon drew first blood, smashing into defenders and getting shoved into the end zone by his co-workers. T. Higgins and Tyreek Hill both had a big night through the air. A traumatic moment as Tua Tagovailoa took a hit and stayed down for several minutes. He left the field on a stretcher and was taken to the hospital for head and neck injuries. This is the kind of injury that ripples through the NFL. Teddy Bridgewater would come in to finish the game. Tyreek Hill said one of the Bengals coaches said something to him during the game, and he was gonna find him because he felt disrespected as a man. Or, hear me out, don't. Whatever happened to trash talk? Don't be so fragile. Or better yet, get some perspective. Your quarterback's brain was bounced off his skull and he's in the hospital, but you got hurt by words? Suck it up, Buttercup. NFL games in the UK have traditionally been a pretty weak export. 8 straight years of Jaguars games to suffer through. That's like slapping a Fiji label on a bottle of hot dog water. But not this time. Vikings versus Saints and London showed up. In fact, the cast of Ted Lasso showed up in the stands and on the feet of Adam Thielen. Alexander Mattison caught a pass and found the end zone, the perfect place to hold a tea party. Pinky up, that's fancy. Honey Badger was full of beans and had a pick early. Vikings faked a punt. Sneaky, sneaky. Get that Andy Dalton off the field. I want my third-string quarterback. Or third-string tight end. Which is he now? Taysom Hill with the keeper. That bloke is in the end zone. Justin Jefferson had big catches all game, but his touchdown came on the ground. Andy Dalton was sacked, and Zadarius Smith took a wee nap. And did I just Google British slang? With bells on. Will Lutz nailed a 60-yard field goal earlier. Does he have one more foot in him? No! The kick was balls up and the Saints were brassed off. They're gonna be F&M blinding on their way to a jar. I am not British. Cheerio! Sweet fancy Moses, what the hell happened here? This game was all gas, no brakes. The Seahawks punter never even saw the field. He had to have it described to him like a blind person. Absolutely anybody who wanted a touchdown in this game got one. I bet if I check the game tape again, I'll find even a ref who got one. Coach Campbell said he's gonna do a deep dive on his defense. A wise move considering the Seahawks just hung 48 on you. Jared Goff said he was kicking himself after the third quarter interception. You hear that, Detroit? The line forms there. Some made fun of DK Metcalf when he was carted off the field to use the men's room. First, there's not a toilet on the field? Then why does everybody keep going in that blue tent? And second, that's just jealousy. You wish you had your own shit chariot. Zach Wilson was back, and I'm sure he was thrilled about it. I can't wait to see him catch a touchdown pass from Braxton Berrios. Oh, well that was unexpected. Robert Saleh looks exactly how I picture a Jets head coach. Crippling anxiety and existential dread. By halftime, Coach Tomlin had seen enough of Mitchell Trubisky. It was time for Kenny Pickett to take the field. 3 interceptions. Oopies! But he ran for a pair of touchdowns too. After the game, Coach Tomlin wouldn't reveal the starter for next week. You don't gotta be coy, Mike. Say Kenny, even if you don't mean it. Don't give Steelers fans hope there's some other unknown third option. If you prayed for good football, your God is dead. With all his starting receivers lost at sea, Coach Dable leaned into the run. Saquon had big gains. Daniel Jones ran for 2 touchdowns, until his ankle got the boo-boos and he was replaced by Tyrod Taylor. Taylor wouldn't last long either, leaving with his very own concussion. Don't feel left out. Also, don't fall asleep. Make way for third-string quarterback Daniel Jones? I see the Giants have accelerated his backup status. That's next year, guys. There was a Darnell Mooney sighting. Fields hit him for a big play, just a taste of what the Bears could be. But even their big plays didn't result in points. In the end, the Bears executed a play with the same precision they'd played with all game. Look at them, desperate for a playmaker to give the ball to. You won't find one, not on this team. Just kick it out of bounds already and get on the bus. Or better yet, under it. King Henry is back.
Hail to the king, baby.
Henry ran around and over the Colts defense all day. He does not run scared, though you wouldn't know it from this picture. The Colts defense must have had Robert Woods on their fantasy roster because they forgot about him in the end zone, and Tannehill made them pay. The Colts formed a conga line and somebody brought a banana. It was Mo Alley Cox Day at the stadium. He had 2 touchdowns and rumbled for big plays. Treylon Burks left on a cart. No word if it was number 1 or number 2. But he wouldn't return to the game, so I'm guessing number 2? Coach Reich said, we felt like we were seeing some things we wanted to see. Really? Because I saw a freight train with legs run through your defense with reckless abandon and whimsy. Get your eyes checked, Frank. The Texans are still winless, and you can see it's a real team effort when kicker Kaimi Fairbairn kicked a field goal from 46 that he would have missed from the 5. Rookie John Mechie was there for support and as proof that Texans receivers actually can catch things. Someone must have found a voodoo priest at a reasonable rate because Austin Eckler rose from the dead for 3 touchdowns. Mike Williams had over 100 yards and 7 catches. They said he was game planned for. So can't you do that every game? Rookie Dameon Pierce got loose for 75 yards and a score. He said they'd worked on that play all week. Nice to see it pay off. But maybe next time, work on a second or third play. This was the kind of game that could make fans forget about the name Albert Blue. Davis Mills continued to make highlight reel throws, so long as you don't provide context or look at the final score. Don't look now, boys. Your stadium is crowning. This had all the makings of a surprise good game, and it did not disappoint. Falcons head coach and man who just found out he's living in a car dealership, Arthur Smith said he knew it was going to be a big boy fight. It sure was. Each backup quarterback took turns leading their middling franchise down the field. After scoring a touchdown early, Cordero Patterson left with the boo-boos. It was rookie Tyler Algier and practice squad call-up Caleb Huntley who did most of the groundwork. For the Browns, the chub rubbed deep. But when they were forced to air it out, Brissett was picked off. Falcons hang on, birds of prey. The Commanders came in with some spiffy new unis best described as McDonald's after dark. A new name and some fresh undies won't change the fact that the only thing they're in command of is an early draft pick next April. Well, well, look what the cat dragged in from the litter box. Dan Synder is prohibited from attending Commanders home games because he's under investigation for workplace misconduct, but there's nothing keeping him from attending away games. He's got a nice tan from whatever Caribbean island he's been hiding on. Oh, that's right. Get right in next to Jerry for a picture. He looks so thrilled to be beside a guy who's been stealing from him and the other owners. Allegedly. Fuck that guy. What the hell is happening here? Are two Commanders blocking each other? What a fine example of the dysfunction in Washington. I guess Carson Wentz with a Beretta pointed at his foot would have been too on the nose. After Wentz saw Tom Brady throwing Surface tablets willy-nilly, he decided to throw stuff himself. Best pass of the day. The Cowboys continue to win, and if their fans are to be believed, Cooper Rush is the next Genghis Khan. The Eagles are the only undefeated team in the league, but there's only a statue of one guy outside this stadium. I mean, technically it's two. Doug Peterson, bringing that visor energy back to South Philly. It was nice to see Dougie P back in the building, and that Philly fans didn't piss all over him, even if the weather did. What would sunshine do with all those clouds? Turn the ball over 5 times, 4 fumbles. Jamal Agnew burnt the defense on one play. He had 2 touchdowns by the end. It was ground all around for the Birds. Hurts, Kenny Gainwell, and Miles Sanders combined for 4 touchdowns. Peterson said he hopes the turnovers were a blip for Lawrence. At least, I think it was him. I guess it could have been the statue. Both quarterbacks were the rushing leaders for their teams. Ah, the modern NFL. The Ravens were more like roosters when they got up early on the Bills. They snagged a Josh Allen pass, and Dobbins put the tutty in for 6. Lamar Jackson disappeared like my parents' expectations and somehow got the ball to Devin Duvernay's hands. But the Bills came back. Baltimore decided to go for it on 4th and 2 instead of kick a field goal, and Lamar Jackson was picked off. Ravens fans looked pissed. Oh, that's Coach McDermott. Coach Harbaugh said, in hindsight, you take the points, which sounded less like he'd learned a lesson and more like, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. Earlier in the week, it was revealed Cardinals' J.J. Watt had to be shocked back to life. Apparently, he died a long time ago, which just makes sense. He's been reaping souls for years. But doctors sent him back to face the Panthers. From one purgatory to another. On 4th and inches, the Cardinals hiked the ball over Kyler Murray's head. You would have needed 2 of him stacked on top like a totem pole to catch that. Maybe that's how you get Rondale Moore in the game. It's not like he's doing anything. I wonder if Baker Mayfield can physically feel himself turning into Mitchell Trubisky. In the 4th, Murray scored twice. 1 by land, 1 by air. Mayfield found McCaffrey for points. When asked about the future at quarterback, Coach Rule said, I don't have any thoughts about anything moving forward. And I believe him. Nothing but wide open country up there. Darth Vader's toilet bowl took a bolt of lightning. A storm was coming. Russell Wilson started off strong, hitting Courtyard Marriott for a touchdown in the 1st, and then Judge Judy for 1 in the 2nd. Call it a Christmas dinner, cause Josh Jacobs went absolutely ham. You tackle me, and then I'll tackle him. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It must be cold season, cause Melvin Gordon coughed up the ball right into a defender's lap, and he ran like Daddy just took off the belt. Russell Wilson made a late game push, but it was Josh Jacobs' day. He simply would not be denied. Owner and inventor of the business mullet, Mark Davis, finally saw a win. It was the biggest defeat the Broncos have experienced since hiring Josh McDaniels. If Bill Belichick wasn't robbing quarterback graves to Frankenstein a replacement before this game, he sure as shit was after. Brian Hoyer was knocked out of the game early, giving way to rookie Bailey Zappi. The Pats were 1 snap away from Bill Belichick playing quarterback himself. Okay, everybody, turn for it. What'd he say? Jack Jones picked off Aaron Rodgers to keep things interesting. They finally found a way for Christian Watson not to drop the ball, hand it to him on a running play. Rodgers got his 500th touchdown, a huge milestone. I hope he celebrates with a new haircut. because from behind, it looks like he fell asleep at a frat house and woke up a victim. You'd think Aaron Rodgers versus a rock on a string would be no contest, but this went to OT. Packers pull a win, Belichick can get back to digging. It was Texas Kermit the Frog Patrick Mahomes versus Hertz Rent-A-Car spokesman Tom Brady in prime time. The game started with a fumble. The Chiefs stayed up on the Bucs, forcing them to air it out. They only had 3 rushing yards all game, so I guess it's nice that one of those was Rashard White's first touchdown. Tom Brady threw 52 times. I hope the TB12 method involves some icy hot, because that noodle's gonna collapse like a dying star. Rock beats paper. You win again, Mr. Brady. It was tight end day for the Chiefs. Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, and Jody Fortson all had touchdowns. Suck a butt, receivers. Cameron Brate, who I assume is a part-time prison barber, took a big hit and was ruled out after the half. I guess that's how that one run play snuck in. The Rams are still working some things out, like defense. Jeff Wilson ran right through it for a touchdown. The Niners didn't have the same problem. They crawled all over Matthew Stafford. Debo turned a lucky short pass into 9 billion yards and broke every defender's will on a drive to the end zone. He's one bad man. Just before the half, an activist let loose on the field. Bobby Wagner wasn't having it and knocked him on his ass. You want to step on this field? Expect to get hit. Fuck your cause. Ooh! Defensively, it was the peak of the Rams that day. And in retrospect, it could have just been an overzealous gender reveal. Safety Talanoa Hufanga jumped around and picked Stafford off. He said, "You can smell a rat when it comes to those things." I'll take your word for it, Hufanga. I don't go around smelling rats all day. I got shit to do. Plus, I doubt I'd be able to smell it over Sean McVay's cologne anyway, which I'm like 90% sure he sprays into his shoes before he puts them on. You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. I know these things. The Rams were sent packing. Better get home and start planning for next week. Genghis Khan is coming to town. Thank you so much for watching Shut Up Football. We'll catch you next time. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Why is this hard to read tonight? Oh, it is midnight. Ba-doop, ba-doop. Oh, I almost forgot the ending. That would be stupid. Whoa. Cheerio!